because less bandwidth of everyone and less things to worry about.
Yeah.
And then less chats. Like it's just dumb to have like this many chats to keep track of.
Mhm.
And then we don't
Okay.
have that many people on our Discord anymore watching or
Yep.
listening.
Stream is live now.
All right. Oh, there we go. I see it. Oh,
Faces.
That's us. And I can't get my video to work on Skype, and I don't think it matters a whole lot. So as long as it's up on
That's fine.
Twitch, so
yeah. As long as I can see you.
as long as you can look over and see this handsome devil.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
I'm just
Just
gonna.
staring.
I mean, you are Bilbo Baggins. That's it.
I can't believe I still have that. Such a letdown of a movie.
I think you're so wrong. I enjoyed it so much. Whatever.
I love Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit book, but the first movie was great, and the other two were could have been a lot better.
I agree.
No, Clark, and you can stay. You can do whatever you want. I'm just gonna be paying attention to Twitch chat a little bit more.
You are free man, Clarkin.
Yeah, Dobby is a free elf.
Dobby? It's Dobby, you heathen.
No, Dobby. Like Adobe? Come on now.
Oh my god.
The troll is real. Alright.
I nearly called him a leprechaun. Jesus. Alright.
So, yeah, like I said before, first thing we want to talk about is just like expectations of preseason. It's like, you know, all the ranked, you can still play ranked and what it does for you, but it's not going to get you anything like higher placement and stuff like that. Or, I mean, higher rewards and stuff like that. And like what we suggest or what we do for preseason, things are OP, you know, things are super underpowered, overpowered, so don't get too frustrated, just have fun. And play around with keystones, and we'll talk about keystones, and maybe we'll break it down even further. I don't even know, because I feel like other runes are decently, unless is there something that you think is like super important, or you think that there is like you absolutely don't take any of these, but like you take one of these like small runes?
I wouldn't even like venture into the like absolutes at this point. There's so much up in the air. Like I think it's really gonna be just like we're just gonna
Like,
dive
theory
into
craft.
it and kind of do a little bit of like theory crafting and talking about it, because like there's so much up in the air. Like even the pros are disagreeing on like what's good and what's not and stuff like that. So I don't think we even want to give any kind of like, I personally wouldn't give any definitive answers at this point.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, I can talk about like what I've heard are kind of like because I watched Beyond the Rift today, and it was with the Riot guys.
Oh,
Oh, was
nice.
They even went into a little bit of kind of like what they did. It was with like Riot Meddler and Riot Rex, who were like the
Oh, that's awesome.
heads of Runes Reforged. So I could talk about even from what I heard from them. Kind of like,
Yeah, I was planning on watching that later tonight.
oh,
Cool.
yikes! Spoiler alert.
Oh, I'm not worried about spoilers for a talk show.
Thank
Oh
you.
shit!
God damn it.
All right, you ready to go, guys? Then
I'm ready.
I'm all set.
we're at like 6:30 right now. Start time. All right. Hello, Twitch chat. Hello, Clarkin, as well.
Hello,
Oh,
world.
hi, Clarkin.
Oh, we got a handful of people in here. Cool. All right.
What
So
up,
we're actually
people?
gonna start the show. Sorry for all this pre-game banter, but
That's all
do
we
this.
got.
I'll count us down. All right. 3, 2. Hey guys, welcome to episode 165 of the League of Legends Anonymous podcast. I am your host Sam, aka Just Casual. Here I have with me Alec, aka Wormlax.
What's up, guys?
Yo, and we got Manny, aka Manster. Some numbers I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's a me, Manster something.
Is it 512?
Oh, so close. It's actually 415.
You got one number right. One number wasn't even the right spot.
415?
Yeah, this is the easiest way to remember. 4 plus 1 equals 5. And I'm pretty sure I actually have told you that before, but it's besides
I don't
the
think you've
point.
ever told me that before, actually.
But easy way to remember. 4 plus 1 equals 5.
I'm gonna call you an answer 325 next time.
Yeah, it's gonna be just gonna keep adding random numbers. It's like, yeah, it's not something to do with math.
617, something like that. Anyways, it is good to be back. We have not done a live show in a while because actually last month we ran out of hosting storage because I guess we put out too much content last month. So sorry about putting out so much content, I guess. But yeah, we are back. The season has ended. Actually, how did the season end for you guys? Are you guys happy? Was it painful?
I'm super happy. This is the first time I've ever ended at Diamond, so
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, I'm all I'm waiting for is that Diamond board to show up so I can feel very superior and elitist every time I get into game, and then proceed to get flamed every game I do bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you get flamed for that mid-random champion, and you're like, wow, this diamond shitter got boosted. And you'd be like, I've never played this champion ever. Thanks.
Exactly.
How about you, Manny?
A bit disappointed because I actually had an awful time in August because I didn't have internet for a month and a half, so I couldn't
Ooh.
play League ranked. So I was pretty close to like flat, and then I just tilted, and then went back down to like gold 4, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just finish it here because you know I peaked at gold 2, and I can't go higher right now because I'm so tilted. But I mean, aside from that, I've seen improvement in the game. So that's always good.
Next season, every single person that's on the podcast will hit plat. I don't know if that should be true.
I hope
but-
that's not true for me. I hope I hit higher.
Yeah, you get a demo. Yeah, Blake hit diamond for the first time, so that's really
Yeah.
exciting.
The
I mean, I don't
podcast
know
is getting elitist.
I know, right? Soon we're gonna be dicks. Yeah,
Aiden
Blake.
got master in 3v3s.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty
Kick him
sure.
off the podcast.
And no one cared.
That's funny. Blake, I think, had the highest. Like his highest was like flat 4, maybe. I could be wrong about this. So this season he actually hit diamond, so he pushed that really hard and got there with Exiles. I think just duoing and just like ripping face off of everyone. And then I did not really do anything until the last 2 weeks of the season. It was really interesting because I was playing top lane, which is my absolute worst role. For most of the season, I was playing top lane, and I tanked my MMR. I was sitting at gold 5, 0 LP. My MMR was like silver 3 or silver 2.
Oh god.
So when I actually switched to support, I was going on like 6 games win streaks, and then I'd hit like a win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, kind of like back and forth, and I'd end up lower like at 0 LP again because I was gaining like 13 and I was losing 25 or something like that.
Oh god.
So rough.
Jesus.
But it was the most fun I had like playing this season because I was like wrecking like silver players as support, like bot lane. But then I actually got my MMR to be roughly even at like gold 5, and I broke out of gold 5, got to gold 4, and then I just like tilted off the face of the earth because I just like couldn't deal with everyone being so angry at the end of the season. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I want to have fun again, so I quit.
Yeah.
So I ended up gold 4 somewhere.
This is kind of bad advice since the season is over, but never wait until like the last few weeks to try to grind out. It is the worst possible time to try to grind League. Everyone is trying to grind. Everyone is trying to hit their last minute goals, and
Everyone's tilting off the face of the earth.
yeah, because they're trying to grind for those goals, and like every game matters so much more. It's like everyone's right on that edge of like going over the edge and just like going off on you or whoever they're playing against. So like it just makes it a toxic wasteland to try to play in.
Although, if you want to do vein spotting, it's a perfect time to do that.
Very true, very true. People probably weren't happy with me as I'm sitting with like 60 LP in Diamond 5, like, hey, I'm here to play by one game before, so I don't have to decay out of Diamond before the end of the season. Like, I don't give a shit. See you later. But
It's pretty funny because last season I actually got gold on the very last day, and it was just like. It was nice, but it was also awful because of the same reason. It's like so pressure filled, and I was just like, all right, don't worry, Manny. You just gotta win 8 out of the next 12 games you play, because that's as much time as I had. And
Oh
I won
god.
those 8 games, and I was just like, oh my god. And as soon as I finished, I like took a breather, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play one and be that gatekeeper. No, someone's not getting so I won another game with that, and I was just like, heck yeah. I felt so good.
That's
It's like, yeah,
amazing.
don't wait. Definitely for the last couple weeks, and definitely not for the last day. I think that's probably like the worst thing you could potentially do. Just try to.
Quick side note. I think the stream went down.
Did it?
It
It went back up.
hosting
Yeah.
again.
But I actually, yeah, I thought so too. And then I refreshed the page, and it was back to us, to our wonderful faces. So I'm not sure if that's it. But.
All right, cool. Never mind then. All right, so back on topic. Yeah, so it was interesting because I know it's a bad decision, and I was never planning on really hitting plat realistically this year because I was just kind of busy with like doing the podcast stuff and my other like doing other podcast things. So then the last like 2 weeks, I'm like, could I do it? And I was like, let's see if I could. I didn't, and then once I stopped having fun trying to, I just gave up. But yeah, I would rather pretend the season ended in like October 7th or whatever, and just like take my days off. Like, you know, I know some people have taken days off of work to like grind like the last season or last
Yeah.
week, and it just sucks. So do it like a month earlier. Just if you can't hit it by then, let's say you're like trying to get to plat and you're like a gold 1 by the end of like at the beginning of October, like then you just play a little bit every now and then. Like you have the time to like, oh, I'm tilted, but I have to play 5 more games. You could just like stop and do it tomorrow. Those kind of things. You have like a whole month to get it. It's really not worth it unless you're right at the cusp of like trying to get there, because you need some serious iron skin. You need to be taking ignite on all your champions. You need to be playing like Pantheon and like early game champions. And yeah, it's painful, man. It's so
Yeah,
painful.
putting pressure on yourself in like most situations is like motivating, but like procrastinating is counterintuitive when it comes to like a game that's competitive and that you're going to lose a good amount of the time. Because like if you procrastinate a project for school, like it sucks, but you just put your head down and you work on it and you get it finished. When you procrastinate climbing in league, when you get there, you play 5 games and you win 3 out of 2. Those 2 games really like you barely moved anywhere because you got 1 win worth of LP, and it's like, but that's the way league works. And over a couple months, like that means you will climb if you're at that win percentage, 3 out of 5. But in a week or a couple days, that feels like you didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Absolutely.
it's like anything in life. I mean, it takes time and patience and like to try to cram it all into 1 week. Like no one does that. A week, like it can't work unless you're only going up like 1 or 2 tiers.
Yeah, or if you're trying to break out of bronze, that means you are like a solid silver player, and that's why you'll climb with like a 70% win rate. But if you're like probably a silver, or if you're like a silver 5 or like a bronze 2 or 1, like that climb is gonna be not as easy as you want it to be, because you're not really gonna be like getting better while you're ranking, you know, like in a short amount of time, because you're not learning anything new. You're actually just performing at your level that you are, and you learn a little bit maybe each game if you're actually trying to learn, but you don't get to experiment because you have to like play at your tip top like peak performance. So yeah, it
Yep.
totally sucks. But
Yeah.
it was the most fun and most miserable time I had this season. Last 2 weeks of rank, it was yeah, it was painful.
I'm glad it was an experience for you.
It was an experience.
I think that's the best way to describe it too. You also have like the last option, which is just find someone that can help you climb.
You mean,
True.
someone boost you?
No. Try to help you climb. You know, because we're gonna count yourself as dead weight.
Help.
So someone's gonna help you get to another division.
Yeah.
That's always something that you could potentially do.
I
And it's
guess.
mainly if it's like, oh man, I'm silver 1. I really want my gold rewards. Just be like, hey buddy, you have a spare gold account you can use real quick.
Yeah, you have a Smurf account.
Hey, I know you're a challenger MMR. Do you mind if you're real quick? I'll give you. Yeah, we're the same main. I don't care. I'll support you. Like.
Oh, that's funny.
All Jana only. It's okay.
Well, okay, so that was enough talk about the previous season because now we're actually here to talk about the preseason 8. So for the next month and a half, 2 months roughly. Why are you
Something like
putting
that.
7 up? 8, 8. Is it 8 or 7?
8.
Oh, season 8.
Season 8.
Why are you putting 7 up? I'm like, wait, did I really miscount that? I was like, wait a second.
It was the angle. Your thumb was kind of hidden. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
season
fair.
8 is probably starting in January. CS starts up. And when I say probably, I mean that's when it starts.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
right
pretty sure
before
it's like
LCS.
the second week of January is their
Yeah.
set date to start.
So there's a ton of stuff that has changed. I bet there's gonna be even more changes because they actually haven't done like a major rework or a haul on like a specific role like they did like with marksman and assassins and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's something like that coming along as well. Um, that being said, there has been already a ton of changes with the runes and mastery systems. It is all combined into runes. And but before we talk about all those changes, I want to actually talk about what to expect in preseason because there are a lot of newer players that are listening to this podcast, and I forget what preseason is like sometimes a lot as well. So, what can we expect from preseason when it comes to like balance, for example?
Um, so I'll start off with this feels like no other preseason I've taken part of, in the sense of, my God, just all games I've played have been like sub 30 minutes. It's just been clown fiesta after clown fiesta. It feels like I really have started a brand new game. I don't know. I think anything kind of goes right now. I
Sure.
mean, there's some pretty wild stuff out there for
Yeah.
sure.
I think part of it too is like everyone's like it kind of the collective league community has taken a sigh of relief. The competitive like season is over. Worlds just ended. The you can't rank anymore. Well, meaningful rank for rewards. So it's like everyone is just kind of in this mode. It's like we're playing League of Legends to play League of Legends, and there's this huge update out. So let's just try anything and everything and just go at it. And so like
Yeah.
and that's a good mentality to have, like, because it's really easy to get caught up in the like, oh, I need to win every game, I need to try hard and everything. It's a game at the end of the day. So if you go in and just like have fun, like, oh, all these new runes are out, let's try like crazy combinations with all this crazy stuff that like no one has tried before. The person who came up with blue build Ezreal was a gold player. It wasn't some pro coming up with some crazy build. It was a gold player. So, like, this is very unlikely, but you never know when you'll stumble upon some crazy build that might end up being like actually good. So like all bets are off the table right now. Like anyone could come up with something that could be like very useful in the next coming weeks with how much crazy stuff is going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
agree. Yeah.
and the thing is like a lot of things are going to be overtuned. A lot of things are going to be severely underpowered, and then the week after that, it's going to reverse. Something else is going to be overpowered. Something else doesn't get nerfed and stays overpowered. And like, I don't remember if you guys remember like the Black Cleaver meta or like stuff like that, where just like one item, everyone's getting it, and people are stacking it or something. Like, it's just weird stuff happens, and like that's okay. This is kind of where like everything just all balance goes out the window. They're trying to figure things out for the next like 2 months. And the thing is like you might think something's overpowered and then you realize like it's easily countered by X, Y, and Z or certain champions or certain builds or whatever, or like a certain play style.
Mhm.
Or it's just
Things
like
get crazy.
one game, right? Like you try crazy rune page and you're like, wow, I actually dominated that lane, but it ends up being that it's just like that one game. You're
Yeah.
just like superior player than your opponent, and it ends up being like, wow, you actually are very underpowered if you have someone that like, same matchup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Real quick,
Uh-huh.
side note, because you did mention the Black Cleavers. So I heard today that you can stack them again. And
Oh no.
if as Zed, you can stack 4 Black Cleavers, and you're level 16 with certain runes, you have 4,000 health, you pretty much do true damage to everything around you. and you have 45% CDR. And
Oh
it's just the
no.
craziest. It's
Oh
like with
no.
425 AD. It's just really just it's not optimal at all because like the build path is obviously like atrocious in the sense of like it just takes so long to get 4 of them. But it's just I thought it was really hilarious. Like find that out. It's
I
just
might
like,
have to try that. It sounds like a lot of fun.
I mean,
it's like so funny.
lethality is really scary so far in preseason, right? With like the runes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, you don't have like the everyone kind of like lost some armor, even though Riot what they try to do is like balance it out with just boosting everyone's like armor.
Oh,
Like
those numbers are just out. Like no one's reading them because they're just everything. So much has changed.
exactly, it's like
Yep.
and you know it's so difficult to actually be able to see that
I think
in a sense, right? Like it's like oh yeah sure before I had like my 9 armor yellows because I just took that instinctively. But at the same time, it was like flat armor, and now it's you only have base like armor, and it's not necessarily the same. You know, it gets really hectic. So
I mean,
think
attack
that is in
speed,
a
for
good state.
example. Attack speed's weird because you don't have attack speed runes, but there's bonus attack speed now. It's just really when it comes to number balancing, it's in a weird spot. So hopefully things still feel the same. I think Riot was trying to make sure things felt the same, but who knows what they missed or what they overlooked and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be the nice thing is like you can really once I actually get good at setting my runes every game, like you can tweak them for each game, which is going to be really nice. And like there
Yes, I
are
love
ways
it.
to like actually set some like armor in MMR if you're like actually trying to have that kind of stat and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll like at first like everyone's just off the wall like trying everything weird and like going crazy with like over information stimulation and like not really sure what to build all the time. So it's like there has been like a lot of games where it's like oh like this person's really squishy in lane like the runes they took like they're on a tank but for some reason they're squishy because they have like something into like the is the domination tier or the
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, oh wow, they don't have like any tank stats, even though they should be a tank, and I am destroying them. So, like stuff like that is all over the place, and it's like you said, it's coming out to be a lot of sub 30 games, like really fast-paced games, because when you don't know exactly what you're doing and you get behind, like that just snowballs the game so fast because like you're like, oh crap, I did something wrong, but I don't know what I did wrong, and then like it just snowballs on itself. Like I'm still doing this wrong, but I can't change it because it's my runes, and then you just lose really fast.
Yeah, I think I've never experienced so many sub 15 games in 2 days, and I have like just surrender at 15, like because it's like you either find like such a broken thing like Kha'Zix is one of like the strong junglers right now. And my Kha'Zix got fed, and he was like 15 and 0 at like 14 minutes. They just immediately 15 minutes, like 5 out of 5 early surrender, and I was like, "What? I was like, what's going on?" You know, but I think there's a lot of variables. You know, it's not just like, "Oh, this champion's absolutely broken," and if they go exactly these runes, there's gonna be even more broken. Because I feel like from what I've experienced is like if you play against the same champion, different player, and they're just not that good, it ends up just not working out, right? Like there's a lot of things that go into it, so it's pretty
Gotcha.
interesting.
One other thing before we jump into runes, are you guys gonna be playing ranked this preseason? Is there a
Yes,
point in playing ranked?
Yes.
100%. I do because actually playing preseason last season was probably one of the biggest reasons I climbed diamond so easily this season. Last preseason, I ended the season like plat 4, not really trying in ranked that much because I'd kind of gotten discouraged with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we hit preseason, and I was like, you know what? I want to get better again. So I'm gonna play ranked even though it's preseason. And I was just winning games like crazy because people weren't tryharding as much. I personally wasn't thinking like, oh, I need to win every game to get to rewards I want. It was just like, all right, I'm just playing ranked to play ranked. And I ended up climbing to plat 2 in the preseason. And then when I got to ranked the next season, it was like so easy. My MMR was in such a good place to climb through platinum. And
Yeah.
that like carefree approach, like it frees you up so much. Like have you ever tried hard at something and realized that you're bad at it, and then you're like
Every
10
day I play League. What are you talking about?
like a
Yeah, we're
day ago
talking about
when
it.
I didn't care about this thing, I was good at it. Why am I suddenly bad at it? It's like if you sometimes when you really focus in on something and try to make it like work, like you just end up like that's just like this phenomenon I think that happens with a lot of stuff. It's like, oh, now that I'm trying to make this work so hard, like it's not. Like this new mentality of having to make it work just like is setting me off of like actually doing well, and like the tense and like not having as relaxed approach can actually set you up for like making mistakes in the long run.
Absolutely. Mentality has such a big part in performance and
Yeah,
results.
Sam, I know me and you have talked about this in the past, like long time ago. But one of the reasons I still play ranked is because now, to me, like ranks are my normal games, right? Like that's the mentality I go with. It's like, yeah, do I get discouraged if I lose a bunch? Yeah, of course I will, because it has a little bit more weight to it. But to me, I don't have like, some people do have like rank anxiety. They're like, oh, I don't want to lose, I don't want to drop down. But it's like, it's okay, right? So you kind of like it also helps you get into that mentality for the next season, because like what Alec was saying is like so true, right? Like you kind of have like a bit more carefree. It's like you're not so harsh on yourself, but if you still want to improve, you're still going to be working towards improving. So and it helps your MMR. I think like that's the biggest thing. It actually helps your MMR. You don't get any rewards for it, but if you want to climb and you get to climb in preseason, especially if you go up like an entire division, there's actually a good chance that you'll get like my goal is to get plat before the next season starts.
Oh,
and
dang.
I will achieve that goal because I will play a lot.
With 4 black cleavers on Zed?
Yeah, let's go. Don't even play Zed. I don't care. I'll go.
Well,
Just press R, right? That's all he does.
No, I'm gonna main Zoe. As soon as she comes out, I'm gonna master her.
oh, I'm so excited for her. I'm actually kind of annoyed. This is kind of off tangent, but I'm annoyed at how like pissed off people were about the champion reveal because I think she looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, I've seen her in the PV. I've actually gotten to play her in the PV. She's crazy. She's just so crazy. I love it.
All right, we'll talk about her when she comes out.
Of course.
I think, man, you made a really good point though. If you have ranked anxiety, now is the time to play, because we're talking about like how climbing the rank ladder in the preseason will help you out a lot. It really won't hurt you much, because if you're not aware, what happens is that once the season starts, there's a soft reset. So let's say the soft reset, they pick a number of MMR, so it'll be like 1,000 MMR, something like that. What happens is that everyone that's above 1,000 MMR and below 1,000 MMR gets like half the way closer to 1,000. So if you're at 2,000 MMR after the reset, you end up at 1,500. If you're at 500 MMR, you end up being 750. So you go halfway towards the center. So everyone's kind of smushed and condensed in to whatever that median MMR is, like 1,000. So if you fall, it doesn't really hurt you a ton, right? It's like, oh, I fell from plat 5 to gold 5. Then you end up in like silver 2 instead of like gold 4. It doesn't hurt you that much, but climbing it can help you, right? So I wouldn't be too. Yeah, I think right now is the best time to play ranked if you have ranked anxiety, because it really doesn't matter if you win or lose. Like it won't hurt you. It really won't significantly hurt you. And now is the time to make ranked like feel like normals and not really get the pressure off your back and stuff like that when you're playing ranked. I think that's a good point. Yeah, because it's funny. I always got mad at people when they played champions they'd never played before in normal games, because I always brought them into like co-op versus AI back in the day.
Yeah.
And now I can't even imagine doing that. I might go into what is it, the training mode, to like figure out their abilities if it's like complicated like Zed. But besides that, I just jump into a normal game. I don't bring them into ranked.
Right, you just gotta go for it.
But
And something
sometimes I do, but
yeah, something I learned too with like the preseason is like we're talking about all these huge changes that are happening with like the runes and stuff like that. Like that's happening in ranked too. So like if you go into a ranked game, like these people have less of an idea of going on. They're just as clueless as you are with the new runes. So like getting to test some of that stuff out in like a ranked environment where like, oh, okay, I went up against this guy and he had no idea what he was doing building his runes, so I just crushed him in lane when really it should have been more of an even matchup. And it's like that kind of stuff, like it just makes ranked so much more carefree, but also like it can make for free games at a time, you know? So
Yeah, I was gonna say that because if you play your main and you're just figuring out runes, and people are like, "Oh, I've heard this champion might be good with these runes, but they don't play it as much." Dude, you still climb. Like that's just that's free money for you right there. You just abuse the system.
And
Climb
if you
all the
find
way
out
to
your
diamond.
if you find out your main takes advantage of like the most OP keystone,
right.
then like bam, you climb. It's just
So
crazy.
so when
Exactly.
the big climb I did preseason before 7, I was playing Renekton with Courage of the Colossus when it was broken. So you'd rush your Black Cleaver, you'd get your Tiamat item, and then you'd go right into a Locket. Because the Locket was so effective with the Courage of the Colossus shield, I would jump into a full team, stun one person, and you have a giant shield, and then you lock it at the same time. Like 3/4 of your health bar was shield, and you were also one-shotting carries. Like he was so broken, but it was so much fun. And like no one was abusing that on Renekton that much, except for like solo Renekton only and like some other one-trick Renektons. But like people just didn't even realize it because it's like you don't think about a tank like item like abusing the meta that hard. But like
That's so funny.
like people didn't realize just how cost effective the Locket was even for top laners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see things like the Ardent Sensor meta like come out in preseason, like
Yeah.
stuff that was like ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stay on Reddit, like keep track of Reddit and keep track of like YouTubers that are always keeping track of these kind of things, like Philo, and hopefully just it aligns with what you can play, and then bam, you climb, gain that elo real quick.
Yeah. And real quick, I should say that I don't think that anyone should be discouraged to even just try your own thing. Because if you're reading stuff and you go, "Oh, this sounds pretty crazy," but crazy enough it might just work, dude, I'd say just go for it. Try it, because you don't know exactly. It's like what we were talking about, like blue Ezreal, right? There's so many like build paths that people like that pros end up using that it was like, "Oh yeah, where'd you find this out?" It's like, I don't know. I saw like some gold guy look at it. I looked at the numbers and just happened to work out. It's like, oh,
Yep.
it's like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, look at what was it, like Scion support like actually started seeing some play and like pro play and stuff like that every once in a while. And like Trundle support, like who would have ever thought that Trundle was a support, but he actually was a staple pro support for a good amount of time. And it's like those are the little things that like if you think you have a theory, like test it out, go for it. Like this is like if it's fun, like try it out. Like one of my good friends, he sucks at playing meta picks. He plays them at like a gold level probably, but his Teemo is plat. I don't understand how he plays Teemo so well. He'll crush me with Teemo, and it's like there's something about the way he plays Teemo that he just destroys people. And it's like if you have some gimmicky thing that works for you, just go with it. Like it's a game. Who cares? Have fun with it.
Yeah, and you know, our Facebook group is a really good place. Like if you're like, hey, I really think that Lead of Foot would work really well on Nasus. Or something, you know, just if you have an idea, post in a Facebook group. People are like talking about these things. I know there's a handful of people in there that really like theory crafting, and they come up with like the dumbest and cleverest ideas ever. So it's like a really good place to come up with these like kind of crazy things and have people talk about it. You know, we'll be popping in there every now and then, talk about it in Discord because the people are on. I know Blake especially likes theory craft, and Aiden would too. So make sure you and Ernie. Except Ernie will shoot you down telling you you're stupid, and then he'll apologize when it's right. But
it's
no,
only
seriously.
stupid if it doesn't work.
I love theory crafting, but I've never had the chance to truly like test it out to this scale. So I'm just like, oh my god, what if I do this on like Hecarim? I'm gonna one-shot someone. I get into 3 games, doesn't happen. I'm like, all right, maybe I was wrong. But it happens like 1 out of 3 times. I'm like, maybe, just maybe I'm on stuff.
No, maybe what's gonna happen is like first week of LCS, everyone's playing Hecarim jungle. Be like, I was right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like tweet out. I'll be like, guys, if you know me, you know I was onto something.
Look at my match history. See those 3 losses on Hecarim? I knew.
Darda clocks in Hecarim. I'll be like, he knew.
That's funny. we should probably jump into the actual changes for the runes.
That would be a good thing to talk about.
You know what? Honestly, what we've talked about already is probably more important than the runes. Like for real. But anyway, runes, these are gonna change. Who knows? Runes might like completely get like removed, or as in some of the keystones and some of the runes, things will be swapped around. Maybe one will become a keystone, one will like drop down. Who knows what's gonna happen? Preseason is crazy, but at
Yeah.
this moment, we're just gonna kind of talk about like. I think we're gonna start off talking about all the keystones, and maybe if we have time, we'll jump into a little bit more. But we're just gonna kind of talk about what we think is like important or what we find is interesting, and maybe probably some champions that will take advantage of that. How does that get? How does that sound, guys?
Sounds great.
That sounds wonderful.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. So let's start with precision. So the precision tree is basically improved auto attacks, improved attacks, and sustained damage. So the three keystones here are press the attack, which is basically 3 consecutive attacks deal bonus damage, and they make the source of that damage, or anyone attacking that person, also give them have more damage. That made sense.
English is a
Yes.
hard language. I understand, Sam. It's okay.
It is,
It's
it
only
is.
your first language. You're testing it out. You're giving it a try. You know.
So,
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, 3 consecutive attacks you get bonus damage just like a Vayne does, and Vayne is good with this one. And anyone also attacking that target deals extra damage. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
We have lethal
And-
tempo, which is basically you gain a lot of attack speed after attacking people, and then fleet of footwork is at 100 stacks of attacking people or attacking and moving. It builds up stacks. At 100 stacks, your next attack gives you movement speed and heals.
it's for people that like know from the past season, it's pretty much like Warlords, just a little bit not as strong. Like it doesn't scale with like crit and stuff like that.
Which
Gotcha.
was broken.
Yeah, which was broken.
I mean, everyone was
But-
taking that, right? Because you need just to stay in the lane and then you just.
Oh
explode
yeah,
up.
Warlords completely overshadowed Fervor. If you were taking Fervor on an ADC, you were probably doing it wrong because it wasn't worth the slight damage you got compared to the healing that was insane from Warlords. Warlords was the whole reason that 3 crit builds started happening because you didn't have to take a lifesteal item halfway through the game like you usually did.
Yeah. And it was also influenced by the Ardent meta, of course.
Of course, yeah, very true.
All right. So what about press the attack? What do we want to talk about that?
Broken. Just
No, I actually think the champions that actually use this
they're
is
broken.
seriously broken, though. Like Vayne,
Yeah.
really, really great. Anyone that takes
So,
advantage of 3 consecutive attacks, really great.
You know what's even better than Vayne? Lucian. Because 1 Q and 2 autos immediately procs it and you just burst them down like starting level 1 for
Jeez.
ADCs.
Oh.
So I think something to also note, you usually want to go precision if you're an attack-based champion, but also like bruisers benefit from this tree overall, like the precision tree overall. Mostly press the attack, obviously, because that works with Renekton, that works with Darius, that works with, you know, other, because it's like, for example, Darius, right? You hit someone 3 times, you stack their blood, and you know, like you're passive on them, and then if you stack twice more and you ult in that time frame, which you can,
Yeah.
you know, you end up like just doing like 12% more true damage. You know, it's just like you one-shot people. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah,
you
and with
can try
Renekton,
that.
his stun will stack up like multiple hits on it, right?
Yeah, on,
Yeah.
on Renekton, literally, I was trying this out, and you can either, like, pretty much any combination of his spell rotation that Renekton likes to use will proc it really fast. Like,
Yeah.
you can either get it by literally walking up auto W, you got it right there. If you E in auto Q, you've got it there. If you E forward, Q W, you don't even use any of your auto attack like animation canceling, like you've got it there. Like there's so much you can do with it on Renekton that just like automatically procs it. It's like I mean it's very similar. It's like kind of a different fervor. It works a little bit differently, but that's what I kind of like equate it to with old like masteries if you want to equate it to something. And
Yep.
so it works well with anyone who's going to be auto attacking a lot or throwing out a lot of combination of spell rotations.
Yeah. Also for my boys that will miss Fervor Leona, take Press the Attack. Because
I was thinking about that actually.
I mean, you know how quickly she can proc like the triple auto attack, right? Because it's like auto
Yeah.
Q auto, like that's like the quickest like auto cancellation. That procs this immediately, and then just E, and your ADC starts doing increased damage to whoever you stun. It's actually pretty disgusting. So you could definitely take that for Leona.
So does
Okay.
hitting an enemy champion count as auto attacking or any spell that hits them?
It's
Hitting at any champion with 3 consecutive basic attacks.
Okay, so it is basic because I'm trying to think of other supports that could be a good on because you're making them take damage from any source. It's like as a support, I feel like potentially this could work with other like aggressive supports. Like say
Braum.
like Braum, you Q them so they're slowed. You walk up and you're autoing to proc your passive. You're getting those 3 hits on them, and now all of a sudden they're taking even more damage.
Tarek too, because he
Yeah,
has that,
Tarek, he gets the
double
increased
attack
attack speed. Yeah. And I was even
Yeah.
thinking like someone like Alistar, who you're using your E to proc the stun with your auto attack. Like when you first dive in with your combo, like that's everything. So then for a while you're just kind of standing there in the midst. So like that's plenty of time to auto attack. So like these are a little iffy because there's maybe some better like runes that would work better
Yeah.
than just like the damage source. But I could see this being like a good like, hey, let's level 2 all in. Like let's kill this person.
Yeah, I agree.
I have a question. I'm not sure if you guys will know the answer to this, but if you have 2 people that have pressed the attack, what does that do? Does it, like double up the damage?
I doubt it.
I think, yeah, I think you don't go. I mean, that's a good question because I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
Sam, we should definitely try that out.
See,
Five, five people press the attack.
'Cause I'm not. I assume it doesn't stack, but I'm also trying to think if it just it keeps procking it because they get marked, right? So let's say you two have let's say you and your Leona, like you as an ADC and Leona have it, and you start off, you auto attack them once, she ease in, and then like Qs them, she immediately gets like 2 off. Like, does that count as the 3? Like, I'm trying to think.
My guess with the 3, like that comes from you. Like I don't think you would stack it with other people. But my guess is that
That would be crazy.
I don't think you could like double it up. Like I think they would.
Yeah.
That seems too strong because yeah, then you would just run it like your support and your ADC, and then whenever you all in like the ADC on the other team, they're immediately double press the attack and they're taking like the triples, a
24%.
quadruple, yeah, extra damage, and it's like
24% increased damage.
yeah.
Like a double bruiser bot lane, like we're next to and like
Leona, Leona, that's so good. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, I'm gonna have to test that out.
Or
'Cause I'm
screw
not...
jungle, just put 2 people top lane with next
Oh my god.
We will.
So,
Yeah, I don't think that stacks would be my guess, but I'm not sure.
alright, what about should we move on to lethal tempo?
Broken.
Everything is broken.
Everything is broken.
Busted. So I like this one. I do prefer press the attack because I feel like it's just more consistent to get out. Like especially like for you to coordinate how you want to stack, you know, your 3 autos to one person. Lethal tempo is pretty much you get like an attack speed steroid. When you attack a champion, like after you attack a champion for 1.5 seconds, you gain 30 to 80% attack speed depending on your level. So it obviously scales, and it's better, better like the later the game goes or the higher you are.
80%'s a ton of increased attack speed, and it allows you to go over the limit of 2.5, right?
Yes. So you could get to like I think like the highest I've seen is like 3.7. I'm pretty sure.
Gosh.
Jeez.
So champions that work well with this are obviously champions that use attack speed.
Wait, what? What?
Twitch. Cloudball. It's not as broken as like people think because there is like a cooldown before it, you know, and it has like a significant cooldown, and sometimes you have to. But I think Twitch might be one of the best. Varus, I've been playing a lot of Varus, and I really like it on him. And for Varus, you could go.
You're talking about like the crit build, right? Not like the poke build, the build or anything.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about like if you go like Rage Blade and like Rune and Hurricane in a team fight, imagine you just proc that once, and then you literally stand still and you're like, you become like machine gun bears.
Yeah, I'm guessing Kog'Maw wants to take this. Like, I feel like Kog'Maw would be insane, because, like, you pretty much get to a point on Kog'Maw, it's like, alright, I either have enough damage in this fight, or I don't. I'm just gonna stand here and auto-attack. So it's like, if you get that extra attack speed from this, like, that could, with your W up, like, that's so much damage going out.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only issue is like you have to make sure you like time it correctly with your W, because if you don't, then you lose out on a lot of like your potential damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think is the other like those are like the top 3 in my opinion. Sivir could also work. It's just an attack speed champion. So
I'm trying to think, is there any like bruisers that would take this? Like, I don't think a Jax, like even with or a Master Yi, I don't think they would take this.
I don't think it's worth it on
them.
hit.
I mean, yeah, I think maybe Master Yi if he goes on hit. I mean, I saw a Darius bring lethal tempo. And it was kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty scary because he just started swinging that axe like it's nobody's business.
So do I need to do the lethal tempo Darius crit build that I did once? I did a movement speed crit Darius build.
What he did. That's actually what he did. So maybe you should.
It's so much fun because when you go up to a Sivir who thinks that they're gonna be able to kite you away and spell shield your ultimate, dies to 1W auto attack because it crits.
Yeah, no, he. It's funny because he went like triple IE with lethal tempo. I'm gonna just let you know, it was pretty scary.
See, so
we
that's
winning that game, but it was pretty scary.
You could have had no Keystones in Triple I jersey.
Yeah, it was pretty. But he took lethal tempo. I think lethal tempo is gonna be a lot better on ADCs.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like you shouldn't be afraid to like test it out with like maybe like Jaxes and stuff. But I think
with the Nautilus.
Yes, with the attack speed jungle Nautilus. Because the reason that works is because as soon as you damage them, they're stunned for like 3 seconds, so you get like the 80% attack speed and you're just like swimming.
Great, man.
The thing, actually, that lethal tempo might do is like the same way that Warlords made it so you didn't have to build lifesteal items as much. Maybe you could forego like an attack speed item on an ADC if you had this item. Like you could kind of hold off on some of your attack speed because you can get some from this if you time it correctly.
Yeah, that could also be.
I mean, could you imagine a Jinx that didn't build any attack speed and just got crit items? And like maybe even a Bloodthirster, and then just like waited to get excited and then just blasted through the team like at like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That'd be terrifying.
This is the kind of stuff, LOLA podcast, that we need all of you guys to test for us and just give us all your answers so we don't have to horribly lose games with our terrible ideas. You guys just go try this. We swear they're all good.
No. Yeah, they are all pretty good.
We should have mandatory builds for community games. That would be super fun.
Man,
oh yeah. It's like the opposing team theory crafts what you should go. Like before you start the game.
Yeah.
So you have like some crazy stuff going on.
But I have to be 6-0 in the first like 20 minutes. So also like come mid and let me. All right, cool. All right, we're all on the same page. All right.
I think the game mode you're looking for, Sam, is called AI. There's these things called bots you can play against. I think maybe you can beat them. I don't know. Give them a try sometime.
I don't know, that Antibot.
Yeah, Antibot destroys her.
She's a terrifying one. Alright, so Fleet Footwork, the one that gives you builds energy stacks. Anything to say? This one you said like is like Warlord or what? No,
it is like Warlords, but I don't like it as much because it's actually very. I feel like it's very undertuned with the healing it actually gives you. I've seen a lot of Jins run this, and it's nice for like the little movement speed you get. And I tried it with Tristana, and it wasn't awful, but it's definitely like my least favorite that I've tried so far with attack speed, like ADCs and stuff. I don't know if like that's necessarily. It could just be like I mean, it's only been 2 days, right? For everyone that doesn't know, it's like Thursday, so patch has only been out for 2 days, so it's like maybe it just needs more time to find its kind of like ground. But yeah, I haven't seen too much success from it, or it just doesn't feel as great as like
The other
Press
two,
attack or something.
basically,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because like I'm even thinking like a mobile AD carry, so that takes advantage of like building stacks by moving, which is like Lucian or Vayne or Ezreal and like Like I don't see them wanting this compared to the other two.
Yeah, press the attack seems too much better than this. Like, if you, yeah, it just doesn't feel worth it with the
Well,
amount you're getting. I don't
What
know.
about for bruisers?
it could work for bruisers. But
See,
it's also like it's only for like really early game because again you're not getting like a crazy heal, right? It's like
yeah,
a slight heal,
and with like
and
throwing
yeah,
you into the precision tree, like a lot of the bruisers, I would rather go into the resolve tree and take Grasp of the Undying. Like, and that's pretty similar to what it used to be. With like Grasp of the Undying, it's more for the tanks, and like that still makes a lot of sense with like if you're going more bruiser build.
Mm-hmm.
but I think again it's one of those things where it's like I just either need to try it more or just need other people to try it more and see if it's actually better.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'd say Jin. If you're looking for an ADC, this might be a good Jin one. But there's also other options that I'll talk about later.
Cool. All right. So going into the Dominion tree for burst damage and target access. So we have.
It's
We can go one-
domination. There is no Dominion anymore.
Did I say Dominion?
You did.
Yes, you did.
Did I really?
Dominion is dead.
Don't say that.
Move on.
I hope it's a rotating game mode. Which I'm like
maybe
always
maybe
so
in 3
hyped.
years.
I'm so hyped for all these rotating game modes, and I never play them. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're bringing back Earth, or oh my gosh, they're doing the Dark Star Thresh. I was like really excited about that one. Didn't play it. I don't-
If they do
It's
Earth,
funny 'cause-
go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, you go ahead.
So
Alright, I'll go.
you go.
You took too long. I'll just go. What I was gonna say is that when I want to practice like Thresh or like any hook-based champions and Darkstar Thresh is on before I get into like my ranked games, I'm like, all right, let's warm up with 2 quick games of this thing. Let's go crazy, you know. But that was the only thing I was gonna say, so it's not even important.
Value added. Thank you.
Yeah, when Earth is out, I play the crap out of that because it's like you gotta get Earth in when you can. They don't. It's like crack. They only give you every once in a while. It's like, come on, just give me another hit, Ryan. Come on, one more game.
Yeah,
But
I always forget. Like, I'm so super excited. I'm just like, don't ever do it. But, okay, anyway, domination. So the first one is electrocute. Hitting a champion with 3 separate attacks or abilities in 3 seconds deals bonus adaptive damage. How's this one?
So, adaptive damage is their new like fun term of it's just this keystone works for whether you're
Thunderlords. Oh,
It
excuse me.
it is like Thunderlords. It's actually I think it's like a bit better than Thunderlords on certain
No, it
champions,
feels
and then it's like
Thunderlords, I
yeah.
believe. A lot more
Yeah.
damage.
And then the cooldown is pretty high starting off, and like goes a little bit later. This is another one that I've seen Jins go, just because you can like auto queue, or you know, like there's so many good combinations. Katarina's very busted with this. I want to say, first-hand experience. If you can't, just ban Katarina. I think it's interesting. I think certain champions like Rengar, you know, like certain assassins do benefit from it, especially because like with the cooldown, you usually just going for like one target and then like getting out, resetting kind of like your cooldowns and then going again. So I feel like it could potentially work for most assassins or majority of assassins. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add on that.
We got Predator. Add an active effect to your boots that grant a large boost of movement speed and causes your next attack or ability to deal bonus adaptive damage.
This one's so
Broken?
fun to use. It's so fun. Oh my god. Anything that uses attack speed. There's also, and again, I'll discuss like a lot of more combinations, whether it's like later today in the episode or like just future episodes potentially. Predator is great for pairing with one particular not keystone, another one of the runes, which is you get 4% more movement speed, and then you also get like that same percentage as adaptive damage for additional movement speed that you have from like your base. So if you activate this and you have that, you immediately get a boost to your like attack damage, you know. And so
Yeah.
Warwick, Hecarim, Quinn is really
Oh,
good
God.
with it, because you know, you just have like Mobies, you activate it and it's like a small little ghost, and then you actually activate your ghosts and you just fly through the map. It's pretty funny.
There's
I
hearing
definitely
stories of like an
must
Annie
test it.
taking this and like just jumping into the back line, no problem.
So I did see the Annie take it. I don't know if it was as amazing as it should have been, but like it was definitely scaring her, like just her just skipping, like running you down.
The one champion that I saw use this really well was TF. And using this actually, like, usually when you expect the TF to roam from mid to bot lane, it's like, oh, they ulted down here. The TF was using it in such a way that you literally activate it while you're running through the jungle, and you get there so fast, just out of nowhere. It's like, holy shit, here's a really fast TF. And then all of a sudden, he's like, okay, he's in bot lane right now. Oh, well, now his ult is still up to go back to mid lane, or, you know, chase down the bottom laners even farther if he needs to. So like anyone who really benefits from movement speed, like you can really use this effectively, and I think it's like it can blow flashes. Like anyone like Vlad or Rise, like where you would usually take Ghost to like chase someone down, you take this and like you activate it. Like if someone flashes away from you, you just run them down after the flash. Like that flash doesn't matter unless they flashed over a wall.
Sure. Do you think this can replace like engagers taking righteous glory?
I think it can amplify, make it even scarier.
It's not one or the other. It's both.
Yeah.
I actually wholeheartedly agree with that. Dude, I played like 3 Hecarim games today, and it was all 3 with Predator, because again, I really believe that like just I could one shot like people with Hecarim with like Predator and like another array of like, and it's just so fun because you go so quickly. You're like, oh my god! Like imagine like just Scion like pressing this, and he's like, you slow down. He's like slows you, and he just chases you to like. There's so many combinations. I think like it's. I don't know if it's amazing, but it's definitely fun. So,
Yeah.
I'll
Juggernaut
keep that in
champions
mind.
then too?
Yeah, I think there's room for that.
Because
For
I
sure.
definitely like, for example, Garen. Garen's one of the juggernauts that I used to play a lot, and like I would hate it when it's like, okay, I can't get to the back line sometimes because it's like that's how the team fight is, and that's the weakness of juggernauts. They don't have mobility. But suddenly you add Righteous Glory or Ghost and then Predator, like I don't know if that's probably not the best keystone to get because you probably want a tanky one and resolve tree, but
After seeing lethality, Garen, go for it.
I-
That actually might be sick.
I can't wait to see Righteous Glory with Yomu's and this Garen just spitting down the middle lane, coming for you. Just out of nowhere.
Blitz, throw the hook. I aimed where he was, but now he's behind me. Like outruns the hook. Like I could see that. I could see that for sure.
yeah, I wonder if you'll get like, I mean, so yellow trinkets or yellow support items really fun, right? Are really popular, and then you upgrade that into
To the talisman.
Yeah, talisman,
Yeah.
and then you just have your whole team fast, and then you have like your one predator like or 2 predator people just running through the front line.
Imagine just getting chased by a Maokai with Predator. By the way, because Maokai's already can 1v1, like have been able to 1v1 champions. Imagine just seeing this Maokai like just run you down as an ADC that's like just too far out.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of terrifying. That'd be spooky for sure.
I think in the long run, I think like gimmicky fun and stuff, this is good, but I think in the long run, we won't see it too much on a lot of champions just because it is in that domination tier that like you won't have like good stats as a tank and stuff like that if you go into this tier as like just for that predator boost. So like I think it's good, and I think it like if it is good enough that like it's constantly being taken, the numbers might get changed.
Sure.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if it's necessarily like you would go for it, but if you want to have like a lot of fun, I think you could definitely like take it like in some normals with friends or even ARAMs. You know, I think it could be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And I want to mention one thing because I think we are hinting at this, and I said we're not gonna go like deep into the runes, but the one thing that makes like these assassins really strong, especially from the jungle, is the sudden impact rune that's underneath the keystone, which is like gain a burst of lethality or magic penetration after using a dash, leap, blink, teleport, or leaving stealth. So that's what it's usually paired with Predator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was running with Hecarim. It would be that, and then when you eat it, you'd leap into them. You just like leap out like true damage, and you just build a Yomu's second item. Oh my, it's too much fun. It's just it honestly, I feel like it could be completely awful, but it's just so much fun to play.
Cool. All right, Dark Harvest is the last domination keystone. Champions large minions and drop soul essence on death. Touch souls to absorb them and deal bonus adaptive damage on your next attack based on total soul essence collected.
Okay, so this can be broken as hell. Like, it's kind of a less potent shoot, what's the name of that old item that was like the little wolf that followed you around that you stacked in the jungle?
Oh my god.
Devour.
Yeah, it's like Devour, but scarier. Like, okay, there's this video, this YouTuber Heisman, he played this on Lee Sin, and he was really far ahead. So this does play into you need to get ahead. Like, it is a very snowbally thing, but
100% agree.
because he had so many souls collected, he jumped to this vein, auto kick, dead. It's like a Dustblade on steroids with that first auto that you get. That first auto just nukes people. Like, it can do up to half damage on people if you have enough souls. So, like, I don't know if it's necessarily broken because, like, this game that I'm watching, he's obviously fed out of his mind. So, like, this isn't going to happen every game. But it gives, like, some scaling to maybe champions that, like Lee Sin, who should be weaker in the late game. But then, like, he's building, like, half tank. And then also with this mastery, like, he's jumping in and, like, just one-shotting carries while he has, like, 3,000 health. So it's pretty scary. I think this might be the one that actually turns out to be one of the most broken if, like, it goes unchecked with, like, turning into, like, the farming junglers again.
I agree. So very snowbally for sure. I need to like make sure people understand because it's like it might work, but if you don't do anything with like your early game like power, like you might not even be able to end up like one-shotting people and stuff. But Kha'Zix benefits really well with this. Rengar benefits really well with this. Pretty much assassin junglers really well with this. Shaco included. Shaco actually does a lot of damage with that. This is another one that I actually have taken on Jhin and have liked a bit because if you time it correctly and you have a forced shot with souls collected. Also, I want to tell you like how many souls you get for each different like tier because it's champions, monsters, and minions. Champions give you 6. Minions, which is only cannon minions, give you 4, and monsters give you 2. So let's say
monsters, right?
Yeah, large monsters give you 2, and I think that includes the buffs. So imagine like you're just farming as Jhin, and you're like 0-0-0, like, but you've gone like you don't even have to kill the minion. You just have to be next to the minion when it dies, and you collect the soul. If you 4-shot someone with this, you pretty much take true damage like towards like, mid to late game. And it's just disturbing. It is disturbing because it's like, oh, he just did that much damage. It's like, yeah, Jhin did that much damage.
Yeah, I saw Philo put out a video and he was end screen stats, and I think it was Dark Harvest where they're showing like how much extra damage it was dealing in a game. It was like 2,000, 4,000, and that was talking about on single proc of it. Not like total damage over the game, like total healing over the game, 4,000. No, it was like per single proc.
Holy cow.
2,500 damage or something like that on like an Ezreal jungle or something like that. So yeah, I saw a video of someone playing Ezreal jungle where he literally Q'd auto a Jinx out of a bush. It's like boom, gone. Literally one shot, two shot. Literally.
Holy cow.
Especially, yeah, I was gonna say Ezreal jungles I've seen take this one. It's one of like the favorites for Ezreal jungles. I want to say kind of like a little bit. But for sure that one's pretty crazy, especially because if you think with assassins, if you build a Duskblade, it works really well with that because you already have like augmented if you come out of like Fog of War, so that and then your soul collected, it's just a lot of damage.
Lots of damage. Yeah,
lots of damage.
This domination tree in general, I think, is like really scary. I think it's really fun because all three of them sound really good, and even like when we talked about the precision tree, I think there was like certain AD carries take certain ones, right? For domination, I feel like you could convince someone to take any three of these on the same champion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's,
there's good merit to all of them.
It's basically like the way you want to play it, right?
Yeah, I think so. For sure. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Jumping into the sorcery tree. Sorcery is for empowered abilities and resource manipulation. So the keystone summon Airy. I think it's Airy.
Yeah, Airy. Yeah.
Everyone says that. Every YouTuber says like Airy. I think it's Airy. Ari. I'm not really sure. Airy, and I just did that, which I feel really stupid for doing. Anyway, your attacks and abilities send Airy to a target, damaging enemies or shielding allies.
Yes. So I'm gonna also, in case you guys are not picking up, I'm a Jhin main. Jhin's also take this one because it procs off of literally every single ability you have. Your Q, your W, your E, and your ult. Oh, those four abilities. This is kind of like a Deathfire touch, kind of, because it happens like every once in a while. It's not with like every single one, but sometimes it helps secure kills. I haven't really tried it as much, but it could definitely help. And pretty much poke mages, kind of like control mages, I've seen like take this, and it's been pretty strong. Also, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of poke like supports would really like this. Like Lulu, I could see this being good on because you take advantage of it in two ways. When you're damaging people, like it works well that way, and also like if your allies are near, it's shielding them, so you're already amplifying what your supportive abilities. So that's pretty versatile.
I heard Ribbons are taking this too, and it's working well.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I guess it like works with your Q and stuff.
But yeah, I heard this is kind of tuned pretty heavily.
Yeah, because I mean, again, some people might be like, oh wow, so this is perfect on Janna, this is perfect on Soraka, all these other champions as well. And it's like, it's not the worst. There might be some better options, but again, it's just second day. But it's a pretty solid, safe. Like if you're a mage, you could potentially take this, and it could work.
Cool. All right, so Arcane Comet, damaging a champion with an ability hurls a damaging comet at their location, or if Arcane Comet is on cooldown, reduces its remaining cooldown.
So funny. It's this one is so funny to see in game because
it's been super odd.
It comes from base and a comet just flies out of like from your base and hits the enemy champion. It's again, like pretty much any mages can also take this. It works best if you have a slow because then it guarantees you hitting it.
It can be dodged. Yeah.
It can be dodged, and it is a little bit slow. I've also seen a lot of brand supports take it. Because again, he can proc it off of anything, even his like lingering damage. So if he doesn't even have it up right away, it could still fly out of nowhere, like hit you like unexpectedly. So it's kind of like if you just want to again like poke them down, this kind of helps as well. And it could also help you secure a kill potentially, if they're low enough.
Cool. Phase Rush, hitting an enemy champion with 3 separate attacks or abilities grants a burst of movement speed. So this is like
Storm Raiders.
yes.
Yeah, Storm Raiders
Yep.
all over again.
It's easier to proc because Storm Raiders you needed 3 abilities, right?
No,
You
with
needed.
Storm Raiders, you need to do like 30% of their health or like current
Oh,
health
okay,
or
that's
something
right.
like that. It's like you needed to burst them down a specific amount before like procced.
Yeah, this one I could actually really see like taking on a Riven or Fiora. Someone who like I mean you already some people would justify taking although I don't think it's necessarily the best Storm Raiders on Riven back in the day. Back when old masters were up, and I think that this would be even easier to proc with the 3 attacks instead of 30% damage. And so like getting the slow resistance so you don't get like bogged down if you're trying to engage or get onto a target, but also like movement speed is so important like for someone who already has enough damage in their kit. Like you really don't need a huge buff from your masteries to like give you more damage. Like the extra movement speed to keep you on top of them is what's important.
Yeah,
Cool.
I agree. Again, this works for either mages or AD champions. Some bruisers benefit from this. I've seen some crazy. I think it was like a Maokai that brought it. And it was kind of scary.
I'm not sure if I'd recommend it on him, but I would
I would definitely not recommend it. But I'm saying like just try it on different people because for sure it could.
Scary
Like...
Maokai. He had 3
Yeah.
Infinity Edges.
I definitely want to try this on Darius. This is the fun, like, oh, you thought you were going to run away from Darius who has 5 stacks on you? No.
Yeah, I think it could also even work on Garen, talking about like Garens that do damage.
Yeah.
Because you know you could Q E or like E Q auto, and then you just gain a burst of movement speed and just keep on.
I think
trucking.
because of the way the E works, like if you just walked up Q E, like you're gonna proc it pretty fast after that.
Because that is also true. Yeah, because it does like repeated damage.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So in the resolve tree, durability and crowd control. So mostly for the tank. So first keystone, grasp of the undying. Every 4 seconds, your next attack on a champion deals bonus magic damage, heals you, and permanently increases your health. So it's basically like before, except a little better.
I did not know about the permanently increase your health by 5. I'm going to start taking this on many bruisers.
It is actually. I think it is so strong. I think especially the increasing by 5. If you are a bruiser that likes to fight, Ornn, fantastic on Ornn. You know, like you have different like. Pretty much, if you're tanky and you want to get tankier by fighting people, and you're not gonna die, definitely do this because I think it's pretty easy to proc as well.
So, I'm kind of thinking like if you have Scion who already gets max health from minion kills, right? And then you also isn't there another like somewhere along one of the mastery lines? There's like gain maximum health from like killing champions or something, takedowns.
Permanently
there's
gain
100.
Oh yeah.
On something in the.
I think it's sorcery. Yeah, I think it is sorcery.
So if you had this and you had that on Scion, like you could be gaining like a decent amount of health every time like something happens in game on Scion. Like this is the kind of stuff that makes champions hit like 4,000 to 5,000 health with like the items that actually have some like combat efficiency besides just tankiness. That's scary.
Yeah, I think grasp is a very strong. Like Shen feels very good with it. Because he's always been kind of like the, hey, I like to fight, and you know, if you attack me while I'm attacking you with my QW, then I just get free hits off of that, and then you just start stacking 5 health, and again, once the games start getting longer, that's actually gonna matter quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Aftershock. After immobilizing an enemy champion, gain defenses and later deal a burst of adaptive damage around you. Manny thinks everything is broken and he's having such a good time. I love it. I'm like freaking out every time I read one of these.
I just because I start laughing because I've played over 30 games in the past 24 hours.
Holy crap!
The amount of stuff I've played people with and against, I'm just like, that's broken right now. Oh, this is crazy. You know, Aftershock, you have your Blitzcranks, you have your Threshes, you have your Broms.
Leona.
Brom might work better with the next one we're gonna talk about, but literally, if you're a Blitzcrank and you hook someone, it literally causes like a small, like, ult, and then if you ult them, you just like do so much more damage. It starts off at 40, which, by the way, if you are like level 1 ADC, that 40 health could be quite a bit, and it goes up to 140 plus 3.5% of your maximum health. So this means you can go tanky as Blitz, pull someone, and still do a good amount of damage just with Aftershock.
Scary.
So it's like, it could end up being like, you know, like, even Science support benefits a lot from this as well. I know that we have some listeners that are Science supports, you know, like, imagine using your Q, like, I think you have to be near them, but like, when they face check a bush, and you're just like, holding up your Q, and then you like, walk up to them, yeah, you'd like, take even more damage, so.
Sure.
See, being the Renekton man I am, I'm just thinking of the ways I can use this for
Everything
Renekton.
can be used.
And I imagine jumping into a team as Renekton and stunning one person, and then gaining all those resistances with my ult that buffs my health, and then also dealing that damage around me as I'm like stuck in the middle of them.
Maokai's also very terrifying with this, by the way. Talking about like serious Maokai. Talking about serious like Maokai, because he just flash W's you in between 5 against 20 plus 30%. It's just like, oh, now Maokai's unkillable. I was in the middle of all of us. Why can't we do any damage? Oh, he just procs Storm. Like, oh no. It's like Stoneplay. I mean, it's just like, oh well, yeah, you can't die now.
So, does this work with Stoneborn Plate? With the damage that comes off with it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So you could activate that and have that damage be
like,
even
yeah,
stronger.
Because it's like your max health.
Yeah.
And it like triples your max health. So if you literally flash in, proc it, and then W someone, I think you could potentially like not one shot them, but like chunk them with like a Maokai.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
That's scary. That is scary. League is going to. I think we're going to see.
Preseason. It's so much fun this preseason. I'm just saying, guys, you need to play so many games. It's so fun.
I kind of see the 2017 ADC meme coming back to light before the end of this year, because ADCs, all this stuff we're talking about, all I see is just a ton of bruisers just flashing onto ADCs and one-shotting them.
It's okay. That's why you have Leona Sinzao on the bottom lane.
Yeah, changing it up, boys.
Sinzao or Renekton Leona. Easy game. Maybe Mordekaiser will come back. I don't know.
Oh god.
Guardian guards allies you cast spells on, and those that are very nearby. If you are a guarded ally would take damage, you're both hasted and granted a shield.
Yeah, so for the more information on this one, what it means very close, it means 175 units, which is like small little circle. It's almost like melee range pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe like a little bit more, but generally it's around like melee range.
I think I've heard like a Teemo and a half.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good measurement. I agree. So it helps a lot. Braum does really well with this because when he doubles you, you gain resistances, and then you get the Guardian proc, which is usually like a little like locket shield. So that's good. Soraka's I've seen bring that, and it's really good because they want to be like close to you when they heal you and stuff. So it procs off of that, like.
Well, not that close though, because Soraka has to be safe, right? Like she doesn't want to be going to a tank line to heal them when like you guys are peeling or.
Yeah, but the second.
I mean, in lane, right? Because like she gets like the movement speed if you're low, and like she like doubles you and like touches you, and you get like a shield, and she's like backs away. She's like, all right, now get away from me. It's. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Tarek is also pretty good with this as well.
Oh, I can see Tarek being really good with this.
Yeah, I still think this is kind of overshadowed by the other two though.
I
think it's because damage. You're like, oh my god, look how much damage it does, rather than I think about it's your team. You're like, oh, damage. But oh man,
I think it's more selective. I think it's more for supports more than anything, obviously.
Mhm.
And for some supports, I think it actually is like the best. But again, 2 days it's not enough to truly say.
All right, cool. So the last tree we have inspiration.
The best tree.
The what tree?
The best tree.
Is it the most broken tree?
It's just busted all around.
Creative tools and rule bending. Actually, I've seen this one the least amount when it comes to keystones, and I also
100%.
I still don't know how to use a lot of these keystones. But anyway, first one that everyone was like, "Oh my god, I've never seen it use it." Unsealed spell book. Get summoner shards and exchange them at the shop to change your summoner spells during game. Your summoner spells have reduced cooldown as well.
My mind is getting blown right now. I didn't. That's so broken.
That's the thing. Everyone was like freaking out about this, and I have not seen a single person take this yet.
So
And
all I'm thinking is taking this on like a support or someone who like their second summoner like starts to mean less towards the end of the game, and you take smite later on, and then you double smite objectives with your jungler. Like,
yeah,
I don't need to rely on my shitty jungler. I smite the buff myself.
It's crazy because because you can change it so many times, right? If at the end you're like, all right, guys, we need like let's double smite, we'll get this Baron, whatever. Like, there are so many things you could do.
Yeah.
I think the reason you don't see it as often, this is the last tree we've touched on, and I've already like discussed how awesome some of the other ones are, and I feel like it gets a little bit overshadowed.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, it hasn't been super successful for the people that end up taking it. It's kind of like oh yeah, that's a thing, like I've seen some people like take it and just never change their spell. They just take it for the cooldown, and I'm like, okay.
This
25% cooldown.
I mean, yeah, 25% is crazy.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
On top of, like whatever you get with like lucidity boots and then others.
7%, yeah.
Runes that also reduce some cooldowns. That's crazy too.
In this same tree, by the way, at the very end, it's Cosmic Insight. It's like +5 CDR, +5 max CDR, +5% summer spell CDR, and then +5% item CDR. So right there, if you take those two, you have 30% CDR cooldown.
Damn.
Which for certain champions, like, that's just gold mine. Like, you just definitely want that. Like 100%.
I also heard you can go like 65 go up to 65 CDR now. I don't know how. I think you take like Sightstone and then other stuff. I don't know. But,
I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's like, yes, but it's like super situational like builds. I don't know exactly what the build is, but yeah.
So with this one, I just see it like, I feel like during this preseason it'll kind of be overshadowed with like the damage ones and stuff like that, and then when pro play starts again, this is gonna get broken because like pros are the ones who will take advantage of this kind of stuff, like being able to coordinate how their spells work like throughout the game and changing to optimize what's going on in the game. Like I can see like a team's like, okay, like we need a Baron Steel heal. Oh, I guess our support has a like smite now. Like, okay,
5 smites.
Yeah, like, okay, let's have our Cho'Gath jump into the pit with his ult, while also our jungler jumps in with his smite, and also our support has a smite. So we just did about like 5,000 true damage to the Baron in 1 second. Like, please counteract that somehow. Like,
but then the enemy team's like, oh, they're gonna do that, so we have 5 smites now too.
Right.
See, what I would even do is just like, wait, why does Cho'Gath have like smite now? Oh my, he just flashes in the pit, smites, eats it himself, and it's just like, what? Like, you can't, like, it's completely unavoidable.
Could you imagine, like, you have a nice push, you drop wards, and then something happens, and you have 3 TPs, and suddenly you just backdoor with 3 people?
Yeah, your jungler is like Lee Sin, he's just like TPs, and it's like, wait, what the hell?
So wait, when you switch summoner spells, how do cooldowns work? Like, do they start on cooldown? That would be the only way that this would be okay, and somehow it'd be like half cool. I don't know.
I think because of the shards taking so long, I don't think there is a cooldown. I might be wrong. I have not played with this one yet.
Sure, sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like based on the summoner spell you traded off with, probably whatever that cooldown is already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be. It's most likely that. But again, it's like you get two shards every 6 minutes, right? Starting at 2. So the first time you can truly change is at 14 minutes. And you can only keep maximum of 2. So it's like 12 minutes after that, right? So it's like 14, 26, 38, and so on and so forth. So it's like, again, games being so short, like right now, it's like it's so. And I think this one in particular actually gets even overshadowed by the other 2 in the same tree.
All right, so moving to the other 2. The second one, glacial augment. Your first attack against an enemy champion slows them per unit cooldown. Slowing champion with active items shoots a freeze ray at them, creating a lingering slow zone. The hell?
Yeah, so it's pretty much like a trail, and if someone's in that trail,
the Victor laser, right?
Yeah, and it's like if someone is in that trail, like they get slowed too.
But then you need to use an active item to.
So imagine like.
Wait, no.
Imagine if you like that's only if you have like an active item. So, perfect example. Teemos have been running this. Even Teemo supports actually have been running this in high challenge. And usually it's like, haha, Teemo support. He's literally not gonna do anything in lane. He literally walks up to either the support or the ADC, slows them for 20% starting at level 1, and it's just like, wait, their ADC can legitimately just die straight up, and then they go into like Gunblade, which already slows, and that's what leaves like the lingering zone.
Oh god.
Like, it's pretty disturbing to see. Like Teemo's been like the one I've seen mostly use this. I've seen a Blitzcrank take it. I didn't think it was like that good on Blitz, but I've seen Teemo do this, and Teemo's pretty scary. Teemo's pretty scary with this one in particular.
So it can slow up to 20 to 50% depending on if you're ranged or melee. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're melee, it slows even more because it's minimum 40.
So like Righteous Glory.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Or
exactly. Exactly.
Moly. For 5 seconds. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And give me 1 second.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, this one sounds scary.
Yeah, it does seem really scary.
Right,
No, go ahead. I'm just baffled by all these new things.
I know, right? The last one is kleptomancy. Damn it, kleptomancy. Kleptomancy. I hate this one.
Don't hurt yourself, kid.
Your first attack after using an ability, sometimes consumables. That's right, consumable items. Yo.
This one is it's really good on 2 characters in particular.
Wait, so it has no cooldown, just after any ability. So like you weave it in and out of abilities, so you could potentially get 4 of these basic attacks off, like in rapid succession.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it works. So there's 2 champions that really work with this. Yeah, number 1, if you go Gangplank, 1 you get more gold. Your Q has an on-hit effect. You use your ability, it hits them. There you go. You get like your consumable, which at times it's literally it's called a sack of gold, which can contain from 20 to 100 gold. So it has a little bit of RNG in it. And you can consume it, and you either get 20 or 100 gold, but you could also sell it for set 65 gold. There are mana potions, there are regular red potions, there are like the old green wards, like there's so many things you can get, like
oh my god.
So many different things. So that's Gangplank. The most annoying one is Ezreal, because his Q also hits on hit effects, and oh my god, lane Ezreal with this, you don't want to face it. Like, there's Just give it to you straight. If you don't want to play it, just ban it. There's no don't come to like the pain because it's harsh. It's a harsh reality on that one. It's oh my god. It's really crazy. Honestly, because like imagine it is very RNG based, but like if you're lucky with Ezreal and you just get like 3 mana potions, you don't have to go get a tier. You just like keep those mana potions, and they do take slots in your inventory, so you need to like be pretty much like consistently using them and stuff. So
I'm gonna. I have like 40 different games I need to play tonight, so I can try all the different things I want to.
Dude, it's the best time of the year. This is literally Christmas, November 7th. Thanks, Riot.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks, Riot. Like I've had so much fun with this game this past week. So, but if you guys don't mind, I actually want to go through more of the inspiration tree because it's the most wonkiest.
Okay.
Because it's filled with all sorts of gimmicky things. But I think it's legitimately like the most interesting and the one that we have to talk about the most with like the secondary keystones.
All right, go for it.
It's
zip through it and lead us through it.
All right, so let's go with the first one. It's a Hextech Flash Traptation or Traption. Yes, Hextech Flash Traption.
English is hard.
Yeah.
I know. I feel you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Alex is a dick over here.
Yeah, Alex is like, I don't get to read anything. Little did you know, Alex actually can't read. So.
How dare you! You can't tell my secret.
About that.
Tell my secret. I wasn't ready to tell the world. All right.
Oh my god. So I've seen this one. This is very weird. Again, it's just wonky, but as soon as you use Flash, you have this, which is Hex Flash. You channel it for 2 seconds, and then you Flash. So for some engaged supports, like if you're a Blitz, you could bring this because also if you QE them, you get Kleptomancy. So it could be like possibly like a if you want to follow the full tree, but sometimes you want to go for that Flash engage with Blitz. Well, now if you have Hextech Flash, you could just channel it, appear out of Fog of War, and
it's
slash
so hard to do that though.
Oh, it's so difficult, but you can do it.
No, okay, seriously, I don't know if you've tried this, but it's a channel. It's like a fiddle alt, except you hop over a wall. It's really short.
I haven't.
Auto attack range. So it's not even like a real.
Oh my gosh!
But that being said, it's really good. Like if you need to get over a wall to do like some like a weird invade or something like that. Like I can see it like really cool.
Yeah, you could Baron Steel. Yeah, you could literally be like.
Yeah, well the thing
it's so funny.
The thing I'm thinking about with this is like it works well like talking about like engage stuff. Like if you're in a bush and they don't know you're there in the first place, like the like short time to channel it like doesn't matter as much. You know, it's the same thing with Fiddlesticks alt. Like if you like premeditate what you want to do with it, like it gives you that flash ability without having flash up. So that you
short. That's I like because it's so short, like it's almost laughable because I'd rather just W and Q like with the Blitzcrank almost.
you could also force flashes with it though, because especially early on people don't know, and they just imagine you're hiding in a bush as Blitzcrank, and because it still uses the flash sound, and they just see you flash forward, dude. A lot of times people just instantly on reaction flash away, and you're like, ha ha ha, I will get you soon.
Yeah. I don't know, because the range is so short, it makes it feel really weird to like if you're from a bush, that makes a lot more sense because as long as it's not warded, they don't know, and it gives you that little extra range. But it's a 2-second channel time, you said?
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a really long time. And I couldn't use it because I'm like, it's not going. I don't get it because it was taking so long to channel. And you can keep canceling it. So
also the cooldown of it is 20 seconds. So Flash is a 5-minute cooldown if you don't take any other masteries, but that's the point. Say it's a 5-minute cooldown. So as soon as you use Flash, you could use every 20 seconds Hextech Flash. It's hilarious because I saw a Bard take this, and he was on the other team, and he would just be like blinking forward. I'm like, dude, are you gonna try something? I'm not sure. It's like such a troll one, but it's so funny.
It's about sending a message.
It is about
I
sending a
couldn't do
message.
this.
Oh my god.
You
Next
never
one.
know when my flash isn't up, basically, that's what I'm saying.
It's like, you'll never know. It does tell you if they have hextech flash, so that's always good, but if
Okay.
they come out of like vision, I'm pretty sure you don't see it until like...
Oh, wait, it shows them, like, your enemy? Or...
Yeah, like on your enemy, instead of flash, it shows them that it shows you that they have hextech flash.
That's actually
so you're
really
like
nice.
aware of it. You know, like it's not like a complete surprise. You're like, wait, he just had a flash. Why did he flash again?
I like that because sometimes, you know, during a team fight, I forget like who flashes and stuff like that. So if you tab, you could see that.
Yeah,
But
that he doesn't
if they
have
take
flash,
it.
but he has
If they take
hextech flash. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah.
so next one is just really simple. Biscuits are technically no longer in store, but if you take this one, it's called biscuit delivery. I mean, everyone knows what the biscuits do. They give you a little bit of mana. You get one. I think you get a total of 4. If you start off with because you stop getting them at 12 minutes. It's just, you know, a little biscuit. It works if you are gonna try to like sustain in lane and whatnot. So that's a simple one to just go through. You know, if your supports usually take as not this tree as like keystone, but like as a secondary, they usually bring.
Wait, hold on a second. Champions without mana restore 20% missing health instead?
Instead of 15, yeah. So, again, if you want to sustain a little more, I think it definitely works. It's just another thing. On to the next one is perfect timing. You start the game with a convincing stopwatch. That transforms into a stopwatch after 6 minutes. For you guys that might have not played this game or don't know what a stopwatch is a one-time Zanyas that anyone can buy because now stopwatches turn into GAs and Zanyas and I think Stoneplate.
Yep.
I've seen some pretty crazy outplays and from different pro streams and stuff with it because it's just you don't expect like an ADC to have one of these. They're a one-time use, so even if you buy a different one, like later on, if you have already used one in the game, it will just always be like a broken stopwatch. This one just pretty much, it starts you off with it at the very beginning, and it's like, oh, cool. Like, you know, like you get like pretty much that. It also reduces the cooldown of Zanyas, so I've seen a lot of mages take this, just because you usually build it into Zanyas later on, or rush it. If you're against like AD.
Yeah, and the thing I love about this, it changes the build path, but it doesn't increase the value and stuff. So it's a really, really nice. It's like the best. What's that? What do you call those items that you build into the final one? Intermediate items. I can't think of the word, but like it's a good stepping stone item.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember what I'm trying to say. What's that? Okay, anyway, go on. It's really easy to build as Guardian Angels and Gargoyles because of this item.
Yeah, and it just gives you, I think, like 15% more, like, reduced cooldown on them, which is pretty significant, especially, again, if you're a mage that is against pretty heavy assassins, so you probably want to take that. On to the next one, magical footwear. You got free slightly magical boots at 10 minutes, but you cannot buy boots before then. For each takedown, you acquire the boots 30 seconds sooner. Takedown is another new term that they've added into kind of like abilities and stuff, which just means assist or kill. And then slightly magical boots give you an additional 10 plus movement speed after the upgrade for 50 gold less. So it's pretty much like you don't want to buy boots, right, necessarily, and you just get them for free, like at 10 minutes, and it's like a bit faster. And
So
like,
the question is, do I want to take this on Cassiopeia?
you know, I actually haven't tried if you can. I legitimately have been like,
I
wait,
wonder.
do I get boots if I'm cast? Like,
yeah, I wonder if it just like wastes it then.
The game just disconnects.
yeah, like that's why I'm like so confused about it because I'm just completely unsure.
I'm guessing you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, It has to be, or maybe that's the new way that you actually get boots on Cassiopeia.
We don't want boots on Cassiopeia.
Loopholes.
Or you could sell it. You could sell it for gold, maybe.
Yeah, maybe you just sell it for gold. Again, if you're a jungler, I've seen most junglers take these because it's like you don't want to waste time like building your boots, so you kind of like go first 10 minutes farming and ganking, and then after that you get pretty crazy like movement speed boosts and stuff. The next one is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I'm reading this.
Futures market.
What are we teaching our kids?
You can enter. No, this is League really cementing itself with the college community. Futures market. You can enter debt to buy items. The amount you can borrow increases over time. Lending fee is 50 gold. Debt limit is 150 plus 5 per minute. That doesn't become available until 2 minutes. So you can't start off the game right away with like an extra item.
BF sword.
Yeah, with a BF sword, that'd be pretty crazy. But the way it works is pretty much like if you're either struggling or super ahead, and you know, a lot of times ADCs are like, oh man, I really want to stay for that extra 100 gold even though I'm 2 health away from dying because I need a BF sword. If you have this, you can just back, immediately go in debt for 100 gold. And then what that means is just like you're in negative gold, and all the gold you earn afterwards just like kind of like discounts it, you know, and stuff like that. It works really well with the bank plank. Just go in debt, and if you're really ahead and RNG's in your favor, I've seen an 8-minute Trinity Force.
Jeez.
Which is definitely not okay, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna get like, I think it's more Kleptomancy than Futures Market, but Futures Market definitely helped him. So this tree is definitely like the most like the wonkiest, so you might see some more changes as the patches go on, just because it's pretty like up in the air with this and kind of like everything else.
Clarkin's favorite one. It's Clarkin's favorite one. Ernie's most hated one.
Minion Dematerializer. Start the game with 6 minion dematerializers that kill and absorb lane minions instantly. Minion dematerializers are on cooldown for the first 155 seconds of the game. That means 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Absorbing a minion increases your damage by plus 4% against that type of minion permanently, and add an extra 1% for each additional minion of that type absorbed.
This seems too gimmicky. This does not seem worth it at all.
The way I'm gonna say it is, if you need help farming for 6 minions and just have extra damage against those 6 minion types, take this. Aside from that, please do not even look at it. I've read it like 3 times. I'm still unsure on what I would even take it on. It's just
what
like,
if you don't use it until super minions come about? Or does it matter?
No, I think like you definitely can, but I think that first of all, you're going to the mindset of I'm gonna be losing this game. And 2, it's like if you never get super minions, you just wasted potential keys, like or mastery or rune, whatever. On like, so it's like you can end up using all 6 to just like one-shot minions and then be like, oh, I do true damage to like super minions, but it's like.
I don't even think you use this on a split pusher. You don't care if you're getting 4% more split pushing because most likely you're split pushing super well anyway, right? Like
yeah.
Right.
I feel like this will, if anything gets removed from the rune trees, this will be one of them because this is just like, it's so gimmicky and like not worth it. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure. And I think again, some runes might change throughout the preseason. Some will be taken out. I know that some Riot guys have said that they even want to put more in within the preseason because it's not crazy enough already.
Oh god! Oh god!
I think they will not add another tree, but that would be even crazier. But yeah, for sure. I think
5 keystones.
Oh no! I think this is like definitely. It could potentially be just the absolute worst one of all.
Okay, next one.
Next one, Cosmic Insight. That's the one I was talking about before. Plus
broken.
Max
Broken.
Spell. if you're going for inspiration as your secondary tree, I recommend always taking this because CDR is just fantastic.
If you are playing a champion in League of Legends and you have insight, like use this.
Like 100%. Like you have to take this one as one of your secondaries, or
That's
if you
so
choose entire
good.
tree.
What the heck?
I know some mages go sorcery and then insight as their secondary just to take like the cosmic insight, because again it ends up being pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think there's not much to say. You just get a lot of CDR. It's like okay.
Alright.
Next one, approach velocity. This was a failed experiment of mine because I thought Jin would really appreciate this one. He did not. This did not work whatsoever. So, gain 10% movement speed towards nearby ally. Oh no, I thought it was for another one. For like a Soraka. That's the one I was thinking. There you go. Gain 10% movement speed towards nearby allied champions that are movement impaired or enemy champions that you impair. Range 1,000. So it's actually a pretty big range.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like either for the ADC to follow up on like you CC someone, you know, it's not as good as I thought it was gonna be for the different champions that tried it. I think it can be good, maybe on junglers, potentially, right? Like,
yeah,
doing that. But at the same time, it's like Cosmic Insight is just too good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's
to consider, because like you can only take like, from the different tiers, you can only take one from that tier. So like this one's like in the same tier, and I think Cosmic Insight is just like overall better.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, yeah.
This just looks like the guy who was on LeBron's team in high school. That he was pretty good at basketball, but he just wasn't LeBron James. So who really cares, you know?
Yeah, and again, I think if anything, someone that could work well with this is probably Evelyn, because you don't need cooldowns as much, right? And this is totally on the spot, by the way, because I was just thinking who even Evelyn, right? You mark someone, and then as you're ganking that lane, if they impair them, you get movement speed towards that champion, and then if you've marked them, you just get your entire combo off, and it's just oh, okay, well.
Yeah, so it's the second engage, not the, you're not the first.
Exactly, you're not the. This is more for follow up rather than full on engage.
But then Cosmic Insight exists.
Yeah.
Although Celestial Body exists,
and for some tanks, you found it. This is the holy grail: Celestial Body plus 100 health permanently. Starting off the game, by the way. Poppy can start off the game with 1,000 health.
Oh my god.
It's actually disturbing. And then you get minus 10% damage to champions and monsters until 10 minutes. If you're a tank that just wants to be tanky at the beginning and even tankier late, this is great for you. Blitz can take this potentially. I mean, you probably do want the CDR, but Blitz can take this for invades just to have that extra 100 health. And it's just, again, there's some champions that just benefit so well from this. It's just oh, okay. It goes well if you go with the resolve tree. As this being your secondary, it goes well with that.
Just getting tons of health and tons of
resistances. Yeah, it's just.
All right. Cool. That was a ton of stuff. Again, runes are always up in the air preseason, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We had some Facebook questions, but we're not gonna get to those. And mostly, we actually covered some of them anyway in what we were talking about. So just keep an ear out for that. Hopefully you caught it. Other than that, just to close out the episode, we do have an iTunes review. Alec, you want to read it so we can make fun of you?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, thanks.
All right, iTunes review. Helpful and entertaining from Elysian Legion. I've been listening to LOLA podcasts for some time now, and it has been great. The show is super informative and very fun to listen to. The hosts provide informative and thought-provoking discussion, often approaching the game from a mental angle I'd never would have taken. Wow, this is some high praise. This podcast helped me climb to gold faster than ever this season, and I'm well on my way climbing to platinum. You owe it to yourself to give it a chance. I promise you'll enjoy it. Thanks, LOLA team.
Oh,
Man.
that was super nice.
Elysian Legion with the huge words. The hosts provide informative and thought-provoking discussion. That is that's a tall order.
I hate that out of all the tongue twisters we've had in the show, you probably had the easiest one.
Listen, it just seems the easiest because I'm just that good, you know?
No. Because when you first said it, I was like, what? So I had to read it, and I was like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. He wrote it how it sounds, and I'm like, wait a second. Everything else we've had to talk about is just like, super complicated stuff. Oh man.
I mean, Elysian Legion is not that easy to say.
You're just
But-
upset that I have mastered the English language in my years of
He's
being a
diamond
human
in
being.
Elysian Legion.
Yeah.
Imagine naming your first child that.
I am going to now. I am 100%.
Yeah, after that review, I might have to. I might be indebted.
Elysian. Oh man, yeah.
Well, thanks for that review. We really appreciate it. I hope you did get to plat. Yeah, I don't know when this review came out. I think it was like mid-October. So hopefully you got to plat, man. And if not, next season we'll all play and you can climb at plat with us
Preseason.
as Alec falls to plat with us.
Yeah, you always gotta drag your friends down. You know?
All right. But with that, I don't have really any announcements. You know, community games are. If you aren't aware, live shows are now on Thursday. So this is a Thursday when we're recording it. Find us on Twitch or our Discord channel to do that. And again, community games on Wednesday. I know we've been kind of light on those, so we're gonna really kick off next week doing that really hard. That was kind of weird, but we're gonna kick off the game real hard.
Kick it in the ass.
It's all about the passion with Lola. You know, we do it nice, real, and hard.
Thought-provoking metaphors and imagery.
It's all about the imagery.
Wednesday, 8 CST, 9 Eastern PM. And when it comes to how to kind of get into community games, we haven't really figured out like a set way to do it, but we did create a chat room. Or first of all, get into our Discord channel. Second, we did create a community games check-in chat room, so you guys can like go in there and be like, hey, I'm here, or like, hey, when's the community game, or like, can I get into the next game, or just like meet up with people and play like three people flex queue or whatever you want to do. We don't always have 5v5s in-house games depending on who shows up and just like how schedules work out, or just jump into a voice channel with like anyone that's like a host, or I mean pretty much anyone kind of knows what's going on if they've been hanging out in Discord channel. So just jump into any voice channel. Don't be too shy, don't be too scared. People
Just
are
come
pretty
yell
nice.
at Sam.
Yeah,
Sam,
you can do that.
what are you doing?
I'm okay with that. Yeah, as long as you're okay with me feeding, be on my
Sam, don't flash! No!
Stop using that hex flash thing.
Not in the Baron Pit! No!
It's okay, I got my hex flash and I just got smite on my build, so we're good.
You can't make it over that wall. No.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be even more fail flashes. This is gonna be great. Anyway, so yeah, feel free to join us on the community games. We're a bunch of, I think, pretty okay guys. Apparently,
We're just a bunch of idiots, so
yeah.
come
we
say
just
hi.
Pretend like we knew what we were talking about. Yeah, just jump into
monkeys.
Discord, say hi. Sometimes people aren't there exactly on time. I try to get there on time, so I'll try to do that better as well, so we can at least chat before games get started. So join us for those community games. Besides that, that is it for this episode of the LOLA Podcast, episode 165. So we will see you guys next week.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Nice. That was super long.
Woo! Yeah, we did really. I mean, it's the new season, man. We've got so much stuff.
I legitimately, like, it was long, but I think we, like, got, like, everything we needed to get into it. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. I think, yeah. Freaking inspiration tree. Why are you so weird?
Yeah, inspiration tree is super odd.
yeah,
I actually,
it's just so
especially with how long this ran, I actually have to run out of here. So, if I don't know, you want to say something quick to stream, Sam, because I'm gonna have to close it out.
Gotcha. Hey, everyone in Twitch chat, thanks for stopping by. If you're still around, you guys are on. See you guys later.
We love you guys.